Good morning, Biblionauts. This is Grex, among other things. And today I just wanted to give you another update about War and Peace. I finished part 2 now. Much more on my line, much more fun. Not so much mannerisms and high class balls, dinner parties, which I kind like, but I came into this book looking for something else, and finally Tolstoy is giving it to me. He's showing the chaos of war, the absurdity of it, how all the unrealistic expectations of the main characters. We don't see Pierre here in this part. I don't remember reading about Pierre once, but mainly Prince Andrei, Rostov, and some new characters like Tushin and another one that escapes me, that is the only one that has some sense of actually belonging to the army. Every other character is kind of pretty much absorbed in their own in the disillusion from their own self-interest and individual deliriums of what the war was gonna be, and how they were gonna gain glory. There is a character that kind of does. Was that Dolokhov? I think the name was Dolokhov, a private that appears at the beginning. The characters are now, of course, in Austria. The war is about to start. At the beginning, they're still kind of like joking and everything, because the war hasn't yet started. But the moment Mack, I think the general of the Austrian army, surrenders, then I think that's it. There's a character joking about it, about how they're gonna surrender, and they're gonna have to go to war. And Prince Andrei takes it very seriously, as always, a very serious character, and then they have to go to war basically. And it's a chaos. It's a joke, and no one knows what they are doing. No one knows where to go. Every single, all these characters that were hoping for like a heroic chance to, like everything is left down to them, and they will do this action that will turn things, and they will become heroes and gain the glory, take the glory from Napoleon for them. Nothing of that happens. Most people doesn't even know what they are doing. When actual violence starts to happen, it's not direct violence, in the sense that it's not clear from where is it coming from, or in which direction should they be attacking or running away from. So it really exposes the absurd idea of military heroism, or any kind of like heroism when it comes to war. I like that a lot. I mean, of course, I don't think it's anything that I don't think anyone reading this book is gonna be expecting to see a war being glorified, especially a war in the age of Napoleon, when firearms already existed, and let's say that it was the first, or one of the very first kind of modern wars, for what I have understood to this point, meaning that technology was already a bit too far ahead for humans, to the point that the real face-to-face actual fight that we would have in sort of like medieval epics or stuff like that no longer seems to be a possibility. Not that it won't happen in this book. I'm sure it will at some point. I'm sure that there will be some confrontation that feels more direct. But for now, everyone is kind of like running around and pressing buttons and trying to shoot from afar, but they don't really know in which direction. There's a retreat. Rostov is in one place. Prince Andrei is in a different place. There's part of the army that is retiring, escaping, and yeah, I think it's Andrei that when he sees that they are all retreating, because the bridge that they were supposed to throw down to explode, I think, was not demolished. That meant that the French were taking over the city basically, and but there was a squadron, or a part of the army, a group of soldiers that were on the other side. I don't know how many thousands, but quite a few. And Prince Andrei was not in that group. He was in the city. He was advised to retreat, but he, of course, still has these pretensions of wanting to be the hero that that he wants to be. So he runs towards danger. He gets through the bridge. He's trying to get to the very center, to the epicenter of this conflict, and it's funny to see that, to see that kind of like last burst of egocentrism, or whatever you want to call it, ambition, when it comes to his own interest. That's another thing, right? Although they are fighting for the country that they think they're fighting for the country that they think, or for the ideas that they think, or whatever. When it comes to them actually being in war, it's all about them. It's all about how can I make something that will make me be promoted, or something like that. You have Dolokhov, which is a private that was downgraded for alcohol drink or something like that, which is the only that you kind of see doing heroic stuff throughout this. And then once he does it, he quickly comes to the general and is like, "Your Excellency, please remember that I did this and this and this." I don't know. I find everything quite pathetic, in a good way. I think it was very enjoyable. There's moments in which the characters don't know how to feel, don't know what to do. Tolstoy also indulges in, like, certain moments of abstraction, when a character will just like be thinking about home, or will start crying. There are some implicit reflections on not only the nature of war, but also to what degree is it against our nature. Which is not to say that violent is against human nature, but definitely war itself is intrinsically opposed, or diametrically opposed to the way the human mind works. And there's even a character which behaves quite heroically, looks like, during the war. He's just basically he gets orders of retreat, Istushin, but he won't go away, and he doesn't feel any fear. Tolstoy writes that he let me see if I can find him. I don't think so, because it's not marked. Either way, I think Istushin, basically, that the character is just fighting. He doesn't have any. I don't think he has any cover. He doesn't have any cover. He's just with 2 guns, and they tell him to go, and he doesn't. He won't go. He keeps. He stays there for too long, so that he cannot take the guns with him when he leaves. But the whole point is that he does not feel fear when he's there. He's just in a state of delirium, kind of like there but not there, as if everything were a dream, which is a way, it's a mechanism of the mind to abstract himself from what's going on in reality. But then when he gets back to the army, and he has to actually like be accountable for both the good things that he did, in the sense of like having fought to the end, and the fact that he didn't bring back the guns, which I'm supposing they were like, an important asset. He starts crying, and he cannot stop crying, and he feels like a kid, to the point that even when he's reprimanded, when he's told off about this, he's not able to even respond. Prince Andrei has to intervene and say that he did a heroic act, because he was he kept his post and kept shooting, and that allowed the rest of the army to take over. I don't know. I am loving. I was afraid that Tolstoy was gonna elevate war, or make it feel epic from the beginning. I don't mind it being having epic scenes, or scenes that just feel like much more dramatic and romanticized. But I wanted more than anything. I wanted some of this, because I mean, to my understanding, this is what war is, and not only war. Like I have not been in war, but I've experienced quite a few fights in my life, and I've seen fights as well, and they are like some of the most pathetic states that a human can be on, when they are exerting violence. And since Tolstoy is not a naturalist, but definitely a realist, I was expecting true realism when it comes to this, and I got it. I love the confusion. I love the absurdity. I love the sense of purposelessness. Everyone was expecting to, you go to war, like people who chooses to go to war, and the characters that are so determined to go and become heroic, they have a very strong telos, a goal that they are working towards. In this case, glory or honor or anything like that. There's no glory or honor. There is just like, they're just literally going there to obey orders, eat shit, and be lost most of the time. And you get a lot of that in this part, and that is what I loved about this second part. And now I am finally hooked in the book. I'm already recognizing most of the names. I'm no longer lost. I also wrote a family tree with the names of the different characters. I helped myself with some online. So I just searched it online. I had nowhere. I didn't do it myself through the book. I just was lazy. So if I find a video that I used to identify every single character, I'll link it in the description. But yeah, that's it. Much happier. I'm guessing the next video you will get about me reading War and Peace will be more than part 3, because since I'm traveling very soon, I will probably be reading more and making less videos. And also now I'm picking up the pace. I am finally more interested in the story and what's going to happen to each of the characters. Rostov is at the moment confused and wounded. He's only a cadet. I did not notice that he was so young in the beginning of the book, but they do say that he's a cadet in the second part. They refer to him as Nikolai as well. The way the characters are being referred to changes. I don't know if that happens to do with the change of context as well, the change between sort of high class society where they were before in the first part, and now that they are at war. But there is some of that as well. Not super interested in that change of formalisms, although I'm sure that there is some explanation for it, some intentionality behind. I think Tolstoy has intentionality behind every single one of his sentences, and that's why I'm enjoying this book a lot so far. And I think that's all I'm gonna say, except that I wanna once again say that I'm loving my Kindle. I would not have read part 2 in these last few days if it weren't for the fact that I could carry the book in, I don't know how much this is, 500 grams, way less than that probably, just so light. This is extremely hard to read from. I'm only ever able to read from this for prolonged periods of time, which is normally I always read for prolonged periods of time when I can put it on the table. So just logistically, the Kindle is amazing. If you were wondering if I'm still using the Kindle, yes, I am reading more from the Kindle than from here. I take the highlights on the Kindle and I bring them to the book, because on the long term, I find the book much easier to search through when I am going through passages that I have reread. But when it comes to reading, the Kindle is way better. That's all. Thank you, BookTube, and I'll see you on the other side.